Oh, what's up, demons and demonettes? Tis I, Traxy, Demon Queen, and we're back at it once again, and I hope all goes well for you, and that may your Clashfronts map look something like this. But before we get into it, as always, toss a like and subscribe down below. Now, today we're going to be talking about Clashfronts 2.0. What did we learn from this win? That was essentially, I think, a buy for most other big guilds. At least that's what I found in talking with a lot of other people in the space, or just in my other guilds in general. Alright, so let's go ahead. We're going to jump in. As always, we took a peek at the start of the match. It's a little bit easier to peep the other guilds you are going against. You can hit that search feature up top, I found, and you can kind of just click on the guilds here. You can scout out their general power base, kind of gauge how many active members they have, right? So you can just kind of go down on the roster, check the 7 days, the 4 days, you know, see how casual. So maybe like you can gauge like maybe that's a guild that's like half strength at like 48k max. We have another guild over here that's, you know, 30 members, but like you look at their strength and they're maybe like a 31 to like a 28, and they have a lot, and I mean a lot of inactive members. As we go down the list, we can just see the number of 7 days. So just kind of padding the rosters. These are guilds that may have gotten in to legendary by the end of the last match. We all got pushed down to epic, and we fought there. As you can see here, again, we have essentially a guild that has one person. They haven't been active in 2 days. They only participated a little bit in the event. But as you can see, maybe these guilds are guilds that died off in that several week time span that we had, where kind of just nothing was going on in the season, and the developers really need to work on cutting out these empty, awkward dead spaces, because we always seem to have drop off after these big events, where we have the big event and then we just have nothing, and then it's just nothing, and then more nothing, right? So a lot of these guilds, I think, were a casualty of that. So essentially what we got in this round was what we'll say is a soft match, essentially an exhibition game, more than an actual real match where we had a real competitiveness. To this, we just played the bully the entire game. So what I, you know, like, right, so it's just like, okay, we go for our contested tile here, we grab our free tile, and then we go for this contested tile here. One of the things I noticed is that combat trials now gives up to 40 points as opposed to 30 points in the last series of games. So that is worth noting, that you can pick up more points here in the occupation, and skirmish points it's giving out, instead of the old 8 if there was nobody, it gives 10. And if you do actually have a skirmish bout, right now you're getting 40 and 20. So they up the skirmish points as well. So we're going to see bigger points come out of winning skirmishes. So skirmish matches are good, especially if you can get a heavily contested tile. We didn't really have any of those, so it's just basically like one-on-one for your Vanguard skirmishes throughout the match. So as you can see, we easily grab that. Why, you know, so grabbing this essentially gives you another free tile here. And then it allowed us to attack this tile here, and this tile here, right, as well as take this tile, which is essentially the other guild's free tile. Again, because they were a weaker guild in round 2, we could grab that tile, like I said, and then because we're so much stronger than the other guilds, we were kind of just able to grab everything. Now, I did play a little bit conservative in the next round, because I wasn't sure what this guild was going to do and be capable of. Given their numerous 40, I thought maybe they could attrition us down, so I didn't want to spread out things too thin. but we did want to make sure at least that we grabbed the center. Now, by controlling this point and this point, these 2 points essentially become 3 points, right? So we have this, this, this. These are now 2 free tiles in the next round, which essentially allow us to defend this tile here, here, attack big there, and defend here again, because this was essentially a dead guild. This was whatever was going on here was essentially free, so we didn't really need to defend this with too much. We were just leaving squads here to pick up combat trial points and the Vanguard skirmish points there, and I just left them on the off chance that one of the other members, the one that was like maybe AFK for like 2 days at the start of the match, came back, and they did have 2 people. I just didn't want to leave it as a free tile that they could like sneak in and then grab. Here, you know, we grabbed this with minimal. Again, this was a wild gamble on my part. I just threw out a team here to just kind of grab it. My team wiped out any teams that went up against it. It's just the advantage of having P4 against Supreme Plus teams, right? So I mean, if we go here again, we went on the 7-game win streak, and we weren't in danger of losing anything. I didn't exactly run. I did run a strong team. I ran a done Dio. My Dio didn't even get to do anything in the first couple matches, right? So he was like ineffective. As you can see, he's not really doing much. It's the Leica that's really kind of like carrying the team in this case. Maybe later on, you know, he's slowly getting to do more as we get more knocked off, but he's not, again, really doing much here. So we're just kind of like sitting there racking up the points. So that's one of those things to consider if you have that huge power advantage. If you can take tiles with minimal effort, definitely go ahead take them. If it can be like 1 or 2 squads, then you know that's a good grab. That's some easy points for you to pick up. All right, so again, I didn't go as aggressive as I should have in round 3 because I was playing still a little bit more on the tight aggressive spectrum of things. So we have round 3. So where we could have possibly gone for this tile and this tile to complete domination in round 4. We played it a little on the conservative side still, but we did manage to get everything that we wanted, and we gave up nothing, as you can see. Now, round 4, we decided I put it up to the guild. At this point, you could see we have double the amount of points of second place. So we've already essentially going to win this match. We could just literally just do nothing and just win the match and just sit there. So I kind of put it out there for the guild to see what they want to do. Did you want to take off, or do you want to kind of like go for the whole map? Of course, everybody's competitive, so they opted to go for the whole map. So I just crafted a plan then that would allow us to take over the whole map. All right, so the campster obviously appeared here. It is now 600 points. That was huge. We'll see that gain in round 4. So one of the things I will talk about in round 4 is I do a last minute check before a deploy ends, right? Maybe not like last minute, maybe within like the last half hour. For me, it's in the morning. I'm kind of just starting work. So I can kind of like peep to see what's going on with the map real quick and make any last minute adjustments. This is where the ability for a guild leader or a vice leader to move squads freely would have been advantageous. So let's talk about how big that last minute adjustment was. So what happened was the other Kraken, they didn't redeploy like they were supposed to. Maybe he was just too busy. Maybe he forgot to check. Maybe he misunderstood, right? Maybe there was a communication error in the battle plans. So I know it's a lot going on. Like if I show you my graphic for the end of round 5, you guys are gonna be like, what the heck is this thing? Let's go and take a look at that real quick. All right, so we could see here, we'll take a look at the graphic that I create, As you can see, it's very detailed. We have a lot of people going all over the place. These are all of your various Vanguard squads, right? So I have, basically what I do is I rank my squads a 1 to 5. And then I have my Vanguard. They should be able to do something similar. We're like, hey, this is my strongest squad. This is my second strongest squad. Yada, 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 right? So they can kind of like understand what's their best team or what's their worst team. And then you just have them like, hey, I'm putting this here. You guys put this here. Then we have like what I would say are squad goals, right? So we want like 18 total squads attacking here. We want 15. Just with the map that we got, I just used a generic template that I kind of found in the Discord going up against. I think this is the current guild that we are going up against potentially in one of the future rounds, which is kind of interesting. Oh, credit to Dark Knight. Follow, who's currently over here on the follow. Yeah, holla. I wonder if that's the same one, probably. Anyway, enough sidetracking. So, as you can see, we have like a detailed map of what we're going to do. I use this map. I don't like the naming convention that's necessarily used here for the towers. I think it's a little bit easier to break it down into a grid and just sort of number them. I know the numbers are a little bit hard to read, at least especially on my side. So we may have to like change how we do the color scheme for them. It worked well on the last map where I was able to take screenshots. Here, you know, it's not so great. So maybe we'll have to play a little bit more with the Canva photo editor and just kind of make those numbers look a little bit better. I just used the circle to indicate, okay, blue, we were blue. So every circle that is blue is a tile that we currently occupy. As you see, we have a red for red. That is the tiles that the red guild occupies. And then we have yellow and purple, and they occupied nothing, right? So then we kind of like have our attack plans, and then I can like do a more detailed description in a Discord saying, hey, you know, you do this, and this for this tile, this tile, right? So, and then we go back into the Clashfronts map, and then we set these target goals on the map itself. I don't use the notes that much on the map. And then maybe we send a note out in Discord. Again, most of our base players are about the same or around the same power base, so them having their 1 through 3 squads, they can just kind of like freely deploy as needed. I just want to make it as simple as possible. But for your Vanguard, these are the people that are going to have the bigger accounts that can run stronger teams, and you want to make sure that at the minimum that you're communicating through these teams and sharing this plan with them in Discord. All right, so now that's that in place, let's talk about that last minute adjustment that I made in the morning. So what happened was, our Vanguard here, he was supposed to deploy and attack this tile. Now we only had 4 out of 5, and I figured, oh, you know, 4 out of 5, it might be a little iffy. I know I want to get the skirmish points from here, and it would mean giving up the skirmish points for here, because now we would have no Vanguard on this tile, and I wanted to make sure that we protected any big tiles that could have been contested, which was here, 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 and well, not here, but we were attacking here, here, and here. So we wanted to make sure we can protect that. Again, we needed a minimal protection on this tile and this tile. So what I did for the last minute adjustment is, since he didn't redeploy, I sent my Vanguard squad over, and as you're going to be able to see, right, so we sent the control team over. I figured, okay, I'll just send this over. I don't know that they're necessarily going to beat it. I don't really see anybody over there running a done deal team, so there's not really much to be afraid of because this team is set up to counter a Lily May, so we don't really have to worry about a Lily May. Now, had I not set my team, we would not have gotten this tile. So that's one of those things that was big. So making those last minute adjustments is huge, right? Because we make that last minute adjustment, we were then able to grab this tile, which was pivotal in our complete global domination that we were going to go for, because as you can see, we easily grabbed the rest of the tiles, and we got here a good gauge of how many teams we needed to wipe out the base of their guild, right? So we had needed about 6 teams to their 30 teams. So if we put like 10 to 15 teams on a tile against this guild, we should be able to easily take and hold that tile. Now, one of the things is I was confused about the treasure hamster. I couldn't see how it divvied out the points because usually it would be in this line here. We don't have this line, and it just says occupation points, but as you can see, if you go up to the top, we get the additional 600 here, right? So then that becomes 600 points. So holding the treasure hamster, 600 points is big, because just holding the treasure hamster is worth holding all 4 of these tiles combined. So that's huge. That's 600 points. That is a ton of points. So then in round 5, we went for complete and utter domination of the map, and lo and behold, we managed to complete that. We get to move on. We get promoted. We get to move on. As you can see, we get promoted. They get promoted. Us taking all of the map tiles didn't really affect anything with the outcome. It was just something cool that we all wanted to do. It's just nice to look out there and you see a sea of blue. So your team controls the entire map. So complete domination. We won't get to do something like that in the coming rounds, because it is going to get a little bit more competitive, at least from what I can see. It all depends who we get matched up with in the next round, right? So one thing you can do is, if you did get promoted to the legendary guild, what you can do is you can go ahead and you can start taking a sneak peek, I would say, to see what you're going up against competitive wise in your merged districts, right? Because now you can see here that it is across district, depending on the size of your district and the activeness of your district. I think they just opened it up and then they expanded the rewards, right? So now we go up from 4 exalted teams to 12 exalted teams. So that's one thing to consider. So we just need to get the 12th place in exalted, and then you're fine. Now, obviously, we're going to play for first, but it depends who we get matched up with and how we can rack up points compared to those other teams. We will have more matches in exalted at this time. There are no exalted guilds at this time, I'm gonna guess, because I don't think it would be fair to put guilds into exalted, since they chucked so many teams into a legendary at this time. Alright, so what we can do is, like, we can keep, okay, number 1, we can see, okay, they've got some, 60, I got a 69 here, so maybe they've got P3, a couple P4. Okay, so we might have a little bit more competition here at say a guild like this. Or we can peep a number 2. Again, we're seeing more like 60s, 50s. Not really seeing any 70s, so we definitely have the advantage in the Kraken field. Again, we can go here and just kind of like peep all of these guilds here and just kind of like see what's going on. As you can see, we can check activeness, but I expect that these guilds are going to be 30 of 30 with their activeness, if not 29 or 28 of 30. So these are going to be fairly active guilds that are here at the top. I just don't know how, like, maybe we should have gone for a complete and global domination. Like, I already know this guild, they're on our merged server. This is one of the guilds that we are looking to go up against. As you can see, they have 2 inactives. We went up against this guild last time. We already know we can pretty much beat them whenever we want. Like I said, we can just kind of like go down the list. I won't look at all of them, but again, you can just kind of gauge who you're going up against. Like I said, at this time, we don't really have any big, like, large 70 billion plus power-based accounts other than mine, and Edvin. I know. I wonder if that's the same one. That I often see in the, or I used to see in records. He may have a. See, he's got a large account. I think that's the same one. Yeah, I used to see him in a lot of records for stages last season. That could be the same one. So we could have an interesting matchup. So there is a I just noticed that. So we have at least one, or oh no, we got two large accounts here, right? So we have the power base advantage on this guy. So this is a guild that could potentially give us a problem. This guild is a fairly large power-based wise, at least comparable to ours. I think we have the advantage in Kraken power, versus this guild, but they may have us in, like, the midterm. So this is a definitely, you know, we want to watch out for a guild like that. So again, it's, I don't think this is necessarily in any particular order. Again, we could, I don't know how it's going to rank the guilds. Again, we have like a bagazillion guilds in Legendary. So hopefully we get a soft match next match, because I think we're going to have to go very aggressive in these coming matches if we want to make it into Exalted and top 4 and get those big points, right? So whereas I played a little bit more conservative, we'll say last match, we'll have to play a little bit more aggressive in the next match. Now, it is worth mentioning we will get top rewards, but again, as always, I want the gold trophy, I want the outfit. Although I just, you know, in general, we could just pretty much do nothing. We've already got Legendary. So once you're in Legendary, you're pretty much good. I would say even once you get to Elite, you're good, right? Because then you're getting this, but obviously you getting into Legendary is good, or this is Epic. But yeah, Legendary is going to give you the best rewards. Again, I need more reds. My goal is to plus 20 as much of my roster by the end of the season. So getting those Legendary rewards is big. But again, like I said, I want to be in the top 12 here. Oh, that's right, it expanded to top 12. So it's going to make the next rounds, I think, big. We have 80 teams. Only 12 of those teams are going to get Exalted. So being dominant in your coming match is going to be important. So gauging your opponent's strength is going to be big. Playing aggressive is going to be big as well. Just play, you know, you can play a mix of between, as in poker, what we call tight aggressive and a loose aggressive, where tight aggressive is where you're taking, where you have the stronger hand, and you know you have the stronger hand. So say like you have a 4 of a kind, right, which would be kind of like the strongest hand that you're probably going to see, other than maybe like a straight flush or something crazy like that in poker, right? So you get that, you have that really, really strong hand. So like that would, I would amount that to, you have a lot of P4 accounts or P3 accounts. Like you have this big paragon advantage over your opponents. Like we did in the last round, we could have played a little bit more tight aggressive. Loose aggressive is where you do have an advantage to some degree, but you're a little bit more lax in your strategy. Like you're taking more risk. You're leaving yourself a little bit more open for counter attack in that regards, right? So we want to make sure that we're getting the right mix of the two, because that's how you typically win in poker and beat your opponent. You kind of gotta gauge where your opponent's gonna go, so you kind of figure out what nodes you maybe want to defend a little bit more and what nodes you can put a little bit more into attacking. Again, you don't want to put too many resources in defending your free nodes, but again, it is a good way to pick up some free points in the combat trials. Although I noticed we weren't getting like too many points out of our like worst Vanguard team, so maybe we just leave one Vanguard team to get the extra 10 points from the Vanguard skirmish, and then just pick up those tile points. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one. Good luck in your coming Clashfronts. I hope you guys can get to Legendary, and then if you go from Legendary, obviously you want to get to Exalted. And that's it for this one. I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!